Welcome back, piggies, to another episode of the Pigskin Pals podcast with your hosts, Dayne and AJ. Today, what we got for you is a little mid-season review on our Redraft League. Going to be taking a look at the draft board, seeing how everyone did basically coming out of the draft, who we think had the worst draft, the best draft, maybe a couple of picks that we really liked, and especially we're going to talk about our own teams and how we think we did, the most important part of this all. Without further ado, baby, let's get stuck right into it. All right, here we are. This is our lovely draft board with all of the lovely emojis that I forgot I could take off, so I'm going to do that.
We can start just by
Dayne,
raising our egos.
Yeah, let's do that. Dayne, I'll let you raise your ego first.
Looking at my team right now, like this, obviously Godwin is hurt now, but before that, I was loving my team, winning a lot of games. He was basically the wide receiver one, which was helping a lot, and my team felt really balanced, minus tight end, because Andrews was kind of shaky, but he's turning it on a little bit now. But I do feel confident with like some of the depth I was able to grab. Bucky Irving's been really helpful way at the bottom, so he was a good snag. And then waiting on quarterback really didn't hurt me at all either. Having Purdy is kind of my main quarterback right now, and he's been putting up decent points, over like 15 every single week, so that's been really good. Higgins has been hurt, which has been annoying, and then Reed has been kind of going up and down. Debo's also been hurt, but my team has been pulling through. I believe I'm at like 10 and 7 right now, because we do the median points for. But overall, I think right now I would give my team like a solid 7 out of 10 for this draft. And I would have liked it a lot more, but that Deontay Johnson trade is kind of fucking me right now, where he's just
That's true.
Unstartable.
That is true. I think a 7 is pretty good for your team. I think, a couple injuries, it's hard to say because everyone had a lot of injuries, but like no Debo injuries, no Chris Godwin injuries, you're feeling like 8 or 9 even, like about this draft. So
yeah.
Even T. Higgins, I forgot to mention T. Higgins. So, and Jaden Reed, holy shit. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of injuries. Anyway, we're going to talk about my team. I came out of this draft, I think, genuinely for the first time in a long time thinking, I don't know if I did all that well with this draft. And to start the year, I kind of felt the same way because I think I started out 3-6 with the median. Tyreek Hill, obviously without Tua, was really suspect. Davante Adams didn't play like a billion games in the start of the year.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce wasn't great to start. So like my first 3 picks were like actively bad to start the year. But I'm now 9-8. I went on a bit of run here, but I attribute my staying afloat to my next 4 picks after my next 4 plus one other one. Zay Flowers has been great. Lamar Jackson has been absolutely fantastic. And then Ramondre Stevenson and Javonte Williams, as absolutely gross of football players and like to watch them is, they've been giving me like steady running back usage on a team where I didn't have a lot to go off of, with like Corum and Elliott as like my other guys up. I think the absolute best pick of my draft was for sure the one I got ridiculed the most for was JK Dobbins. He has been easily the best draft pick of mine, probably in the last couple of years. I picked Puka last year, but this year for sure, and many years prior, JK Dobbins has been
best value in fantasy this year overall. Like if you look at it, maybe like Jaden Daniels or like the quarterback
I can see that
is a really good value, but I'll
for sure
try and look for like a wide receiver, another running back. But yeah, keep hyping up your team.
Yeah, I mean, so this really, the middle part of my draft really like kept me afloat until now, where I think Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, and Travis Kelce are all pretty much back online. Travis Kelce's getting 15 targets a game. Davante Adams had a great week last week, scored like 15 points. I think him and Aaron Rodgers are linking up again. And then Tyreek Hill having Tua back. I'm on like an absolute tear right now. I'm putting up massive points. So I think with all things being said, as of right now, I'd give myself probably pretty close to you, a 7 or an 8. I'm going to lean 8 just because I think with my air quotes, zero RB strat, I hit pretty well on the running backs that I drafted. Had I, gone for like the Zamir White, maybe like Raheem Mostert, stuff like that, guys like that, I would be, I think, winless. So I'll give myself an 8, I think.
You could have had Tony P, your boy, instead of Javonte.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Javonte has been my boy forever. Tony Pollard became my boy like 2 weeks into the season. So, and I think I was salty that he was gone. So I think I was salty that he was gone.
But yeah, while you were talking, I was kind of just looking at the draft board in whole. I do think the JK Dobbins pick is the best running back pick that you could have made this year. Like last year, it was Raheem Mostert. I was looking for a wide receiver in that similar range, and I just could not find one. None of them really stood out. The first one that really stands out to me is Brian Thomas. he was drafted in round 8. He's playing as a top 10 wide receiver. The only person really after him that's been doing really good is like JSN, D-Hop, Jordan Addison.
Think I have a different one. One that maybe is more in the Dobbins territory and might be better than Brian Thomas in terms of like value is Darnell Mooney here in the 12th round. I think that has been a really, really nice value as well.
Yeah. Mooney, I guess Tracy's been super fucking good.
Tracy too.
Where you've drafted him too. And then, yeah, quarterbacks was definitely Jaden Daniels, maybe Love. And tight ends, it's probably Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers has to be, yeah.
Yeah, draft pick that he could have made.
I mean, maybe Kittle, just even though he wasn't super late, he's just been so good that maybe you have to. Yeah. One player I want to mention as probably, might be up there in that JK Dobbins, Darnell Mooney territory is Javon Baker. Bro has been absolutely electric this year. Bro has been insane on the bench. Yeah, love that guy. He's great. Anyway.
Can't see the field, so
yeah, I think
better analysis.
I think we should move on to what is probably the easiest pick of all time in terms of the worst draft coming out of it. I hate to do this to the guy, it's tough, but it's just so obvious. You can talk about it first.
It's the same. Should we just say our pick on 3?
All right. Well, I'm gonna bet you a lot of money we got the same thing. All right, here we go. 3, Austin. Yeah, we're gonna be off. I knew we were gonna be off, so it's Austin. I'll let you talk about this. You go ahead and talk about it.
I mean, the biggest red flag of his team was, you didn't really know. Everyone got bamboozled. Everyone at the 101 pretty much took CMC, and he was out for the year. Maybe is returning this week in week 10. So that's 10 weeks of missing your first round pick, and then you have to wait all the way to pick to the 212. And instead of picking more skill positions, he went with onesies of Josh Allen and Sam Laporta, who Laporta has not been what he was last year. Josh Allen has started turning it on, but that's just kind of like a lesson I want to remember going into the future is like, if I'm picking early and I have to wait all the way to this turn, it cannot really take onesies. I have to kind of build up my depth of my running back and wide receiver.
I think you can go one onesie, right? I think if there's really like a guy like a Josh Allen, I think you can go McCaffery, Josh Allen, and then like in this instance, like going like Nico Collins or like Cooper Kupp or someone like that. I think that makes it a little bit, but going both is just a death sentence.
And then after that, he took George Pickens as his wide receiver 1, who has been flashing recently with Russell Wilson. He's got Diggs, who that's just an unfortunate injury. He was pretty solid when he was playing. But then he's got Zamir White, who's unstartable. He's got Christian Watson, who's unstartable. Curtis Samuels, unstartable. Gabe Davis, who's unstartable. Jermaine Burton, who's unstartable. And like Ladd is a good flex play. But taking Tucker that early, could have maybe got Jake. You could have had JK Dobbins or Wicks, Leggett, someone that might have more upside. Instead, yeah, you want with the kicker. That's very replaceable. So that's definitely got to be the worst team. I'll give a shout out to Jake Uzmakappa, the pick 102. That was just pretty unfortunate with Pacheco getting hurt, but White and Pittman have been pretty bad in my mind. McBride's been good, but he hasn't been getting any of those touchdowns and really was really bad until that D-Hop trade. And Monty kind of really saved his team. But other than that, it's pretty mediocre compared to some of the other teams.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. You gave a little bit of love to Ladd McConkey. I basically called everything after round 5 a miss. He missed on everything. So it's tough beat for Austin. I don't know. I think we all kind of
wide receiver.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just a certified Ladd hater. I don't know his game. I could be missing out there with the Ladd McConkey agenda. And I think out of the draft, Austin even said he hated his draft. I think it was widely known, like out right afterwards, it was not that great. And then having on top of that, Christian McCaffrey getting hurt, it was just brutal. So
yeah,
I agree with that.
What's one team that you liked coming out of the draft?
I think this is tough because there's a lot of like people who had a couple good picks, but then like a couple ones that really brought it down. But I think for me, it's Ethan. I think Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow stack has been really nice. Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones, as much as like at the time I really didn't like the Aaron Jones pick, both those guys have been like pretty solid in round 4 and 5. Drake London's been okay. He hasn't been like insane, but he's been very startable. Chris Olave's been a little bit unfortunate there. Terry McLaurin's been great last couple of weeks. Brian Robinson's been very good. The Hollywood Brown and Nick Chubb back-to-back picks makes me giggle. That is very funny. Basically, everything past Brian Robinson is a little rough, but those first, 8 rounds are like really solid.
Would agree. Ethan's team stuck out to me. And then the other two teams that stood out to me was the 108 and then the 112, really. So that's Ben's team and Riley's team. Ben's team starting off with AJ Brown, Puka, Nico. Like, those are certified studs. Thankfully, he's got Puka back finally, but then
Nico should be coming back
there.
soon.
Yeah, he didn't just stop there. He struck gold with a running back right after going 3 wide receivers of Kamara and Connor. And then also, like, maybe one of the other better running back picks of Chuba Hubbard in the 10th round, around right before JK Dobbins. And then, Ingram's been pretty good. He's just the last man standing, too, on that Jags offense. I guess BTJ is also, but and then the Jaden Daniels pick too.
That's what I was going to mention. Is I was looking at Ben's team as one of my favorites, but then I was like, wow, this, like, the Keenan Allen, Dak Prescott, like, back-to-back really, like, soured my taste. But then I didn't look farther than that, because the swing and a miss on Dak was fully, like, band-aided with Jaden Daniels being as good as he's been. So Ben is a great picker. I definitely agree with this.
Yeah, and then I like it a lot. Riley's team, I could see that being like a first-place team if Rice was still healthy.
Yeah.
He probably would have been a top 12 wide receiver, and then he would have hopefully just figured something out at RB2. I mean, Doddle's sort of startable.
Doddle's been pretty good, yeah. I think, wow, if Rashee Rice is starting, those first 7 picks are really, really strong for Riley. And then, if he can play Rico Dowdle, or if he could have made a trade to get that RB2 situation figured out, he would have been really, like really, really scary. I think
if he swapped like Harrison with Derrick Henry or something like that, then
my gosh,
terrifying team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think with most of these teams, those, like, Ryan started great with Amon-Ra and Derrick Henry, but then just full whiff citied the next 3 picks. That's just the way it's going to go. You're either going to full whiff the first 2 and go great the next 3, or full whiff the 3, 4, 5 and do great 1, 2. So it's tough to say. Ryan's team was another one on my list because I really like Amon-Ra. I really like Derrick Henry. Swift has been okay. Pollard's been really good. Bowers has been great. Darnell Mooney's been good. But it's just that 4 5 really soured it. I couldn't pick it just because those 3 picks were just so bad.
Yeah. Oh, what about Luke's team? Jefferson, he fell all the way to the 9th pick. That's kind of a scoop. And then Josh Jacobs. Mike Evans has been hot. He's got my boy Kenneth Walker also. He did whiff hard on A-Ridge, but came back swinging with George Kittle. And then he's got some really good depth in JSN, D-Hop, and Josh Downs, and Jordan Mason, not to mention that guy.
I didn't see that Jordan Mason picked on this. Back. Yeah, Mason has played. He's been like a stone cold killer. So I think you got anything else you want to touch on the draft, or?
Yeah, I guess now that we just talked about the draft board, you want to hop over into the standings and see how these teams can shake out. If we were kind of right in the judgment that we were giving out. So Luke's team is on top after.
Looks like Luke.
We got Ethan, we got Ben up there too, number 4, almost in that top 3. And then we got Parker's, whose team we didn't really talk about. We have Ben's team that he talked about, and then we got AJ. But at the bottom, we do have Austin, Sam, and then Jake. We didn't really look at Sam's team. I don't know where he whiffed. It looks like wide receiver heavily.
I'm going to pull it back up just because I'm curious. Cap Sam, TJ Moore, DK Metcalf. DK has been out for a while. Xavier Worthy's been no good. Sutton only recently started being good. Yeah, he whiffed really hard at wide receiver. And ETN being out hasn't helped.
But he does have Tracy.
Makes sense. Tracy made up for it. Yep.
But it was a good waiver wire pickup.
He did draft it.
Okay.
I want to talk about how I'm on the cusp of the playoffs right now. I'm getting kind of nervous, dude. If this tie with the median ruins my day, I'm going to be a little bit upset. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to be a little bit upset.
I'm feeling pretty good at 11-7, right? This is going to be a rough week this week with just really not knowing how much Tebow's going to be playing, and then T. Higgins is out, so I'm starting Parker Washington this week.
Hey, I like good Parker Washington play.
Yeah, but if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play either, then who's their backup quarterback?
Mac Jones. Not the worst backup quarterback in the world. Not the worst backup quarterback in the world.
No, not the worst. I guess I will leave him in if he doesn't play. But man, that's gross.
One thing that I just saw that I need to bring up, because it's not redraft related, it's actually dynasty related, but I think it's hilarious, is apparently people are telling Arch Manning to stay till 2027, and that's when he should declare the NFL draft, which means Austin's strategy of getting all the 2026 picks is for naught because he wanted Arch Manning, and I think that's hilarious.
That's geeked, but If he's eligible in 2026, he's going to come out in 2026. Remember when there's all that news about Caleb Williams' dad saying, "Oh no, he's gonna play till the next year and come out next year and everything," but that shit didn't happen. I think if he's certified to make it into the top 10, even if you're like, no, you're gonna go in the first round, you're gonna go into the draft and make your money as soon as possible.
I just think it would be incredibly funny if he gets all his picks and doesn't come out.
Surely would be. Go check out our other episode that came out this week if you want to see our DFS lineups. I'm gonna catch another dub in that column, so go hype my team up. But don't forget to sack that like and subscribe button like it's Lamar Jackson, because that's who is in that lineup. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on Wednesday with a new episode that we're going to be debuting.
Yes.
Just going over all the games, so that will be fun, just talking about ball in general.
We love talking about ball.
Put those balls in my co-host's mouth.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.